was, there was a proverb and a saying that if you tell a lie long enough, it'll become the truth.
Okay.
And that's part of what, why you see the shift and the change, and, why so many people embrace, because it becomes popular, especially when you're dealing with people who have broken self-esteem. So, being popular becomes a way of validating oneself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're willing to embrace anything, even if it's hazardous to our health, just to be popular. You can just take teenage behavior and something like or just behavior something like cigarettes. It says right on the side of the pack, these things will kill you. But just to be popular, people will still smoke cigarettes, knowing that the risk of smoking cigarettes, especially in this day and age. So, when it comes to the term of the strong black woman, again, the media and so forth and so on, when you can't watch a black movie nowadays without having, like Danella was alluding to earlier or talking about earlier, without having that, that image of the black woman who, is in your face and don't care about this and emasculating her man and so forth and so on, and that's deemed as being valued as a strong black woman. Whereas, if it's a woman let's just say she's a house mother, that's not looked at as being a strong black mother or a strong black woman anymore. So, again, it's the bombardment of that negative image of what, someone else's idea of what that means,
right,
and not our own.
Right, and the thing about it, too, is like when you think about it, like all these shows that you see with black faces on there is not necessarily controlled by, people of color. So it's like, it's kind of like their interpretation of what it means to be a strong black woman. I watched the show just so I can know what it's about, this Atlanta Housewives show. The characters on there, and I was just calling that characters because I can't see them as being human beings. They are just some of the most stereotypical things that you would ever want to see. But I'm pretty sure there's no black producers or anybody of power behind these images saying, okay, we need a different representation of a black woman on this show. It's what somebody's interpretation of what a black woman is. And then the way these particular people come on the show and the way they portray themselves is, to me, is like they're buying into what society, what they think even that term means, and what the producers probably want them to portray. So, right out of the gate, you're stumbling. So it just has to be reevaluated and rethought what the term means, because the term is still. It's just a matter of it getting watered down and diluted, and the message is actually lost throughout all these years.
Well, you know something, Eric, I have to say, now you brought up, Real Housewives or whatever. I can't speak on that because I don't watch it. Not because I'm too good for it, but it's just something that I don't do. However, I don't know, we've got shows like, what was that show that I actually was excited about it? The show with, oh Lord, what is that girl's name? Who Stacey Dash.
Oh,
the show that she was in, what is it called? Single Ladies. Now, when Single Ladies came out, I have to say I was really, really excited because, first of all, black women were being portrayed as sexy and objects of desire. And I thought that was really cool because usually with black women in the media, or in, popular culture, we're not usually the object of desire. We're usually the best friend of the blonde girl, or we're, the smart mouth side, kick, smart aleck. And when I saw Single Ladies, and I was just like, wow, we've got black women who are objects of desire, they're sexy, I'm gonna want to see that because, it's like, hey, yay. And then, and of course it looks on, on the outside that these are, people of color that are producing this show and that are they're writing it, they're producing it, they're responsible for the content. And, I was quite disappointed when I saw that their representation of a strong black woman was basically someone that is very materialistic, and in their quest for being materialistic has pretty much agreed to leave, the average black man behind. So it's like, oh, I'm not going to date you, if you don't have, a Mercedes-Benz or you don't have this or that. And they're quite proud of it on the show. And I was actually embarrassed by the stark, embarrassing materialism of it. Right. And these are people of color that are producing this show. So what I really think is I think black people are pretty much in control of what this term has meant, over the decades. And I think we're in control now of what it has come to mean. And I'm not too happy about that because I in my opinion, I feel that we have accepted the stereotype and we push the stereotype. We promote it.
Well, the thing about it is that what you see on that show is that, okay, it may be written and produced by people of color, but it's still financed by somebody who doesn't look like you. And their whole dynamic is, okay, if you want to put this out there, then what is society buying into now? So create what society is into now. So package this show, and as long as you have people saying nigga this, nigga that, bitch this, bitch that, and doing something that's just like far-fetched from, the common sense person, then cool, we'll just put it out there to these impressionable young minds. So there is still the white influence behind the show, but at this day and age, you can't even put the onus on, white folks. You got to put the onus definitely on yourself, and you got to put the onus on yourself because we definitely still have that control and that power. We definitely have enough dollars to do whatever in the control of destiny. So we still have this slave mentality. Getting back to this term, strong black woman. Strong black woman is like some, Madam C.J. Walker and all these people doing stuff back in the days, even Oscar Michaud, starting their own businesses. That's what being a strong black, whatever, woman, man was back in the day. Not kowtowing and bowing down to what other people are telling you to do. And that's what's gotten lost. From all the examples that we said now, all the stereotypes, all of that stuff is just cool in the many images that we look inside these books and see on these movies, and that's what we're portraying, and that's what we're bowing down to. Because right now in society, it seems like we had some success because we can like a diner or something and sit down with other people of color, which is cool, other, white people, European, whatever, and that's great. But the thing about it is, once you get complacent, you lose your focus. We actually need something to give us that kick in the behind to say, you know what? You have come a long way, and you do deserve a pat on the back because you're still here, but at the same time, the problems are still there. No matter if you got a black president or whatever, the problems are still there. You need to go back and reevaluate what you're doing to go forward. Because quite honestly, with all this technology, all the stuff that we have now, we're kind of not evolving, but we're de-evolving, as a society. So
wow,
it's here.
Loving that, Eric, and I thank you so much for your contribution. We're gonna disconnect now, but don't forget to like us on Facebook and please call us back next week. And
definitely.
I think, Eric, you've definitely got to like our Facebook page because if anyone comments, hint, hint, get on there and comment. They have some comments for you specifically. All right.
Okay. Sounds good. Take care, everybody.
All right.
Take care, brother. Hey, just one thing that he also struck on that I wanted to, like when he said, that we can't blame white people. I always say that there's enough blame to go around. So we have ourselves to blame, and we have to hold people accountable for their actions because at the end of the day, how many black people do you know that own networks? How many black producers are there that are in positions of power? When you look at the numbers, it's astounding. It's astounding. So we don't have that many outlets where we have people who we would want in control. Not talking about those who, have been putting out the same type of crap, that we're actually talking about. Not talking about those who are basically, white capitalists and black faces. You know what I mean? So you got to be, to me, there's enough blame to go around. We definitely have to hold ourselves accountable. But those who are in those positions to actually make certain things happen and are pumping this stuff out, we have to hold them accountable too. by not supporting their